gamers and gamer girls to FYOG. Yeah, I'm calling it FYOG right now. I don't know any other way to pronounce FYOG or just call it FYOG. If you guys have any suggestions on how to pronounce this title, please let me know in the comment box below. Alright, so just got back from PAX and I'm going to sit here and tell you my experience about it. Actually, no, I didn't just get back from PAX. A lot of things has happened to me since my first video, and it's been crazy. It's just been absolutely nuts. And I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll get into it a little bit more tomorrow about why it's taken me, 4 months to make another video. And this channel, I want to be a Monday through Friday channel. So I'm going to do my best right now to make that happen. So let me start first by talking about PAX. And I know it's, like I said, 3 months ago, but it was my very first PAX experience. And if you watched my first video, you've seen how excited I was to get to PAX. Alright, so this is what happened. You can hear that, that's thunder. It's pouring down raining outside. Okay, so this is what happened. We decided to go to PAX. It was my wife, 2 of her friends, and myself went there. And we packed up the car. It was around 10 o'clock at night. We figured, we'll drive through the night to get to Texas. And Texas is about a 15-hour drive. That's kind of what I like to do is when I take a trip, is to usually go at night and get there sometime in the morning, so the traffic ain't too terrible yet, that kind of thing. So that's what I usually do. So we ended up going down there, and the 15-hour drive was miserable. It was just a long, we drove straight through, long drive, horrible, miserable drive. So we get down there, and our hotel is literally 15 minutes away from the Alamo. And so it's like, here I am, I'm in Texas, I'm 15 minutes away from the Alamo. And we didn't get down there until like noon the next day or something like that. It was pretty late. I think it was even later than that, actually. I think it was like 1 or 2 o'clock, I don't even remember. But it was a terrible drive, a long drive. We didn't get down there until later that day. And we get to Texas, it was cold. It was raining. Yeah, I'm going to the Alamo, and it's the Alamo. So the other person in the car didn't want to go to the Alamo, so we left her in the car, and my wife and I went to the Alamo. And even though it was cold and it was raining, it was a lot of fun. It was much cooler than I thought it would be. From everybody that I've heard who went there, they said it's a little tiny building. It's just a little building, that's all there is to it. But there's a lot more to it. There's a whole lot of stuff outside the sea. There's a lot of course, history to take a look at there. And they have all the old guns and knives, and it was just a really cool place, and I could highly recommend it to anybody. If you really want to go see the Alamo, go see the Alamo. You won't be disappointed in it. It's a really cool place. So we end up getting to the hotel, and the next day is PAX, and we had an opening keynote from Jeff Knightley, I believe is what his name is. And if you don't know him, he hosts the Video Game Awards on, I think it used to be Spike. I don't think they're on Spike anymore. The opening keynote was basically him standing up there for like an hour or maybe 2 hours. I don't remember how long it was. And he just talks about his life and how he got into video games.
Well, look, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my career, my background, some of the amazing stories that I've seen over the past 20 years as a host and journalist in the gaming business. So I hope it's interesting to you guys.
And it was really interesting. I actually thought it was good. I mean, it was fun to hear how he grew up back, in the 80s, and how he basically created his own job back then when there wasn't any sort of job reviewing video games. And it was an entertaining keynote. I liked it a lot. So right after the opening keynote, Mike and Jerry came on. I mean, they came on almost instantly. And I had obviously never been to a PAX before, and I've never really sat and watched PAX on television, so I had zero expectations going into this. None. I didn't know what to expect whatsoever. So they came on, and they did a little skit where they had a hat sitting there, and they were pulling questions out of the hat, which now I've found out that that's what they do on every PAX. People write them questions, and they come on and they answer the questions on stage. And that was a lot of fun. And it was some hilarious questions, and it was just, again, lots of fun. Pretty much after that is when everything started going downhill, and downhill really quick. After the keynote was over and the opening with Mike and Jerry was over, we walked out to the lobby, and I instantly started feeling sick. I mean, it just hit me like a bag of bricks. I mean, it just hit me over the head. And I was feeling fine sitting there. The whole time sitting there listening to the keynote, I was good. As soon as I walked out of the lobby, my stomach just started going, like somebody's just twisting it. So I went over and sat on a bench, and I'm just sitting there feeling worse. And it just started, I mean, it was quick too. It was just like instant sickness. I've never really felt that before. So I said, I gotta get back to the hotel. So I got up and instantly dashed towards our hotel. And luckily our hotel wasn't far from all the convention hotels, and it was maybe 10 minutes away. And I didn't think I was gonna make it. I mean, there was like these big bushes that was sitting there, and I was gonna like get behind some of these bushes and puke because I didn't think I was gonna make it to the hotel. That's how sick I got. So finally I get back to the hotel, and as soon as I went to the hotel, I went to the bathroom and just started throwing up. And I was in there for hours and hours throwing up. I felt terrible, and it just hit me out of nowhere. I don't know what caused it. I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. So all of Friday I spent in the bathroom. I didn't even leave the hotel Friday at all. So I didn't know what happened at PAX at all on Friday. So Saturday came, and I started feeling a little bit better. So we went back to PAX on Saturday. And by that point, there was a lot of people. Because Friday wasn't too busy. You could kind of walk around a little bit. But by Saturday, there was thousands and thousands of people there. You couldn't even move. And there was a lot of cool cosplays going on there. A lot of people had really awesome costumes. And it's like on the first level of the hotel, they had the rooms and shows and stuff you could go into. But then on the bottom level is where all the gaming was down there. And for a convention that is supposed to promote gaming, is supposed to be about gaming, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff there to see about gaming. And that was my big problem with PAX, was they didn't have, or at least PAX in Texas, they didn't have the big contenders there. They didn't have, all the big video game companies. They had almost nothing. The only one there that was the big gaming industry was Telltale Games, who makes Borderlands. And that's kind of what we even went there for, because my wife is a big Borderlands fan. And so we went to several of their conferences, and they were good. I mean, they were just like the other ones. They were fun and they were entertaining. But as for just plain old gaming, there wasn't a whole lot there to see. If you went down to the main floor, they had a lot of big screens there, and they had a bunch of, tables with monitors and stuff, but they weren't anything that I personally could care about. There was nothing there I wanted to play. And for example, there was this game that came out on the Xbox 360 like several years ago, and it was a zombie game. It was a independent zombie game, and they were bringing it out for the new generation, like the Xbox One and I think the PS4 is coming out for. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a look at it. So I got in line to look at this, just an indie game basically. And they had I think there was 4 setups there for people to play them. Like 4 TVs and 4 controllers for people, when you get to the front line, you go over there, or, it's 4 different areas. And they let these people play these games for 35 to 40 minutes each. So you have a line of 40 or 50 people. I mean, you're talking about a 3 or 4 hour wait just to get up there to play a game that I've already played. And I waited for about an hour and a half in line, and I moved maybe like 2 steps. And I was just like, that's just not worth me waiting in line to play this. So I got out of that line. And then the one thing I really wanted to play there was the Oculus Rift. I really wanted to play Oculus Rift because I heard so much about it. but the line for that was like a 6-hour wait or something crazy. And I just could not stand in line because I still wasn't feeling well. I couldn't stand in line for 6 hours to play it. So, in all, PAX, most of what I saw at PAX was from the bathroom because I got sick again Saturday night and I ended up back in the bathroom. And then Sunday I started feeling a little bit better, but then by Sunday night I was starting to get hungry because I hadn't eaten anything in like 3 days. And everybody's in there. By that time it was like 8 o'clock at night and all the places were closed, and they're like, oh hey, let's go get some Mexican food. So we ended up going to this Mexican place and I ate there. An hour later I was back in the bathroom again. So yeah, it wasn't a great experience at PAX at all, but it was fun, and I hope that it will grow, being that this was the first one and all, grow into something much larger than what we saw. What we saw was like the baby PAX, where there was almost nothing there. They have to get their stuff together with their video gaming systems and the lines there. I mean, I just can't stand in line for 4 hours to play, Super Mario Brothers or something. That's kind of what it was, to wait that long in line to play stuff like that. They did have a cool arcade there. It was like a retro arcade that you could go into and play the old stand-up arcade games. But even that, there wasn't that many arcade games in there to play, and I mean, it was okay. So, but then the 15-hour drive back was even worse than the 15-hour drive up there, because on the way back we ended up getting lost, and we got off the main road somehow. I don't know even how we did it. And then we're driving. This is out in the middle of Texas. I mean, this is backroads Texas out here. I mean, this is straight out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was nothing. We were just on a sort of one-lane road out in the middle of nowhere for hours, driving and driving and driving. And the strangest thing I've ever seen was we drove past this field, just a big flat field. There was nothing out there. And they had these gigantic, almost triangular wooden pedestals sitting out there in the field. And they were on fire, just huge fire. There was nobody around them, and it was just, they looked like almost like teepees made out of wood. And there was two of them, and both of them were just on fire. But eventually, we did get back to St. Louis, and now, since then, right after I got back from PAX, my life just turned upside down. And like I said, I don't want to get, this video is already so long, I don't want to get into what happened to me right now. I'll get into it more tomorrow. I'll tell you what my life is right now, what's going on with me, and why it's been such a long time since I got on here. My original plan is still here, to talk video games to older gamers, to younger gamers, to introduce people to some games maybe they haven't heard of. I have plenty of time to get to all that later. And The Witcher 3 that I talked about in my first video is actually coming out tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll talk about that too, because I will be buying it tomorrow, and maybe by Wednesday give you some impressions of it. So if you like video games and you want to talk old games, you want to talk new games, absolutely leave comments below. And I will see you next time on FYOG, and please subscribe. And I do have a Facebook page as well, which I will link below. I'll see all of you gamers and gamer girls tomorrow.